Lesson 16.1, Ordered Pairs. Now for this chapter, it's going to be a little bit tricky because every year you seem to not make all of the topics, and it's always this last topic on ordered pairs or on graphing that is the one that's missed. So that there's just going to be a lot of things that you're not going to be aware of, or vocabulary that you might not have heard before. So let's start there. For this chapter, the vocabulary, the big thing, coordinate grid. It's real simple. You've seen it before. In fact, it looks like that. It's a graph used to plot and name the points. And on those graphs, you have two things that are called axes. You have an x-axis that goes along the bottom like this. Definition is it's the horizontal axis. And again, horizontal goes this way, side to side. Really important, super important. It's listed first in an ordered pair. Here's some examples of ordered pairs. This is the x-axis, and I'll show you later when we practice how we use that. But here are ordered pairs, so it would always be the one that's listed first is the x-axis, so it's the one going this way. And then you have the y-axis would be the opposite. It's the vertical axis on a coordinate plane, and it's listed second. And the last vocabulary word is going to be origin. It's the point where the x-axis and the y-axis meet. So right here, we might say it's kind of 0 right there. Okay, let's look at the practice. Now, I noticed that I have all these points down here, and what we're going to do is we're going to plot those on this graph, on this coordinate plane, and we're going to look at maybe is there any trend that we can identify, or something we can figure out about the lines. So as we're doing them, I want you to be pausing the video and seeing if you can plot it where it should go before I do. And then after we plot all the points, let's look at the lines that we made and see is there anything that any trend that you see. And as you know, I don't allow colors to mix. So even though there's blue, there's brown, and there's, blue, orange, and brown, we're only going to use the brown marker. So for this first point is 1, 3. And I said the x-axis goes first, so I go over 1 and up 3. 1, 2, 3. So right here, I'm going to put my point. The second one is 3, 6. So again, I do the x-axis first. 1, 2, 3. And then the other one, the y-axis was 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll go there. And the third one is 5, 9. So I start again, always starting at my origin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I could also just, instead of counting them, I could step back and look at it and say, all right, we have 5 and 9, and just follow the lines across to the points. And you notice that those go in a pretty straight line right here. I could probably go like this and say that points in this area will all lie around that line. Now let's look at the second one. I have 1, 2. So again, pause the video now that you've seen how I do it and see if you can find out where to go or where to put the points. All right, I'll give you a second. All right, let's see if you were correct. The first one is 1, 2. So I find my 1 as my horizontal or my x-axis, and then up 2, so my vertical. My y-axis, it was 2. So I put that point right there. The next one was 3, 4. So I go back up here, and I find 3 here, and go up to 4. So I'm going to put a point at 3, 4. And my last one was 5, 6. So again, I go on my x-axis first to 5, because 5 was the first one. And then I go up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I can kind of continue that line also. Okay, notice how these lines are not parallel. Line 1 is increasing at a greater rate and it's going up like that. Line 2 is a little bit flatter going out that way. It's really important to identify the trends. Notice how skinny they are right here and how wide apart they are right there. That's telling you that they're not increasing at the same rate. And the third one, again, I'll give you an opportunity to plot these points. Okay, let's see if you had them how I had them. 1, 1, we start out here. So now let's step back and look at it. We started with 1, 1. Is it going to kind of go at the same general direction as the others? So it's going to flatten out even more and be like that? Is that what we're thinking? Let's see what the next point looks like. Next is at 2, 4. So I go over 2, because the x-axis is always first, and up 4. Uh-oh, that looks a little bit different. That's not normal. Let's look at what the next one is. 3, 8. So I go 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 8. And that point's going to be right there. So now I connect those lines. Look how different that was. What does that tell us? That's telling us that it's increasing at a much greater rate. So points along that line are having a greater slope than line 1 or line 2. One of the things I want you to think about, and that we're going to talk about tomorrow in class, is what could have been happening in these lines to cause these points and to cause the lines to be so different. If you have any questions, please make sure you're looking through the book and then you ask me when you get to class. And also, I know I mentioned it, but I want to show you again. We have this grid paper. You are more than welcome to use it, but please don't use one whole sheet to do one graph. You can cut it into fourths, and then you can use the front and the back. So on one piece of paper, you should be able to fit 8 graphs. Again, if you have any questions, please ask. I know this is something that's new to a lot of us, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.